Giving all praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, Kakwadash. And I'm going to entitle this video, Donald Trump Declares Civil War. So what I did was also the latter days. We are in the latter days. So what I did, I made it easy for myself. I put in Donald Trump Civil War. And this popped up, and then I'm going to go click on news. So he's calling for civil war. And you know what that means. You're going to have the right wingers against the left wingers, the Republicans against the Democrats. You know, the fulfillment of Revelation chapter 6, the red horse. The red horse is still in power. Another precept is, there's a whole lot of precepts, but another precept is in the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 16. The scriptures speak about invading one another. They shall not regard their kings or their princes. And a revolution is in the air. You know, Esau wants his kingdom back. He knows that he's losing the kingdom. This place is dead. It's dying quickly. With the gas prices, you have in certain parts in California, you have a gallon of regular gas is $8 and change. And they keep saying that prices will skyrocket above $10. Your food prices keep going up, and they're going to go up higher, according to what these so-called experts are saying. So this is second Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 16, and in the 16th chapter and in the 13th chapter, you got to go from the 15 to the 16 back to the 13 is when the Lord comes back. So we're in that time. The only thing that's stopping our Lord, Yahawashi, HaMashiach, and the angels is the charagma, which, you know, for the record, we here at GMS from the very first week we got on YouTube, or the inside of the very first month, we went into the charagma. And we told you that it was going to come, and now it's here. It's big in Sweden. The technology is already out there. You have people with the charagma in their right hand, left hand, butt cheek, forehead. And they're actually, you know, using the charagma, their medical records, their bank account. You know, basically they cut out the middleman. They don't have to go to the bank anymore. They work at a job. They earn money in the form of credits. And the buying and selling part is when everything is switched over to a digital system. Everything is going to be digitalized. So in order for you to pay for something, And they're doing it now with smartphones, but ultimately the technology of the smartphone is going to go into your, your right hand. Now you can go into like places like Costco's and BJ's and other places, or most places, your big box stores, and you can go to the self checkout, and there's a slot for cash, and there's another slot for your credit card, debit card, and then you have people with their account, their information inside of their smartphone, so they scan their smartphone over the scanner, and it comes out of your account. Whatever, if you paid $25.99 for something, there's no need to go in your pocket and pull out money. So that'll stop theft. The only way they can get your money is if they hack your system. That's another problem. So that's right up the block. It's right at the door, not up the block. It's right at the door. And the door is, being pushed open. And that's what the Great Reset is all about. The fourth industrial revolution. That's why they're having these meetings. They just had meetings back to back. They had the World Economic Forum. This was like, 3 weeks ago. And then they had the Bilderberg meeting, which they didn't even advertise where they're going to have it. People like Luke Rudkowski and Alex Jones, they always attempt to crash the Bilderberg meeting. So they found out it was in DC, and they found out what time at the last minute, where they get together and they have these secret meetings. Biden, the current president, the king of Babylon, he's specializing in kissing asses. He made a vow that he's not going to accept oil from Russia, Gog, Magog. And that's another reason why the prices went up, and he blamed it on Russia. But Germany, Italy, and other EU and or NATO nations, they're saying the hell with that. They said that's too expensive. That's killing our people. So we're going to deal with Russia, and we're going to convert our dollars, which in Germany is euros. They're going to convert their dollars into rubles, because Russia is not a part of the EU system, so they don't deal with the euro. So Germany, in order for them to get oil, they would have to convert their money to rubles, which strengthens the Russian dollar, the ruble. And Italy is another one. Turkey wants to totally break off. From what I heard, I can go into it. I might do it on another video. That's a whole another video. Turkey is breaking off from NATO. Let's see. You know what? Let me bring that up. Oh, you see here, in real time, U.S. debt clock, 30 trillion. It's actually closer to 250 trillion. And that's another whole nother topic. But anyway, where did I say I was going to go? Let's see what happens. Turkey to break from NATO. Let's see what happens. NATO. Okay, this is what it says for NATO. Turkey is a disruptive ally. The New York Times. It says when President Recep, I can't even read that, Erdogan, which is the president of Turkey, threatened this month to block NATO membership for Finland and Sweden. Is Turkey part of NATO? As we celebrate the 60th anniversary of our NATO membership, Turkey has been a staunch ally of NATO and considers the alliance as the linchpin of the transatlantic ties, Euro-Atlantic security. Let me do this. How Turkey spoiled NATO's historic moment with Finland and Sweden, because all those member nations have to agree. If one nation is against, then the vote won't go forward. Okay, Turkey. Man, this is like news from 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. It said Turkey sets conditions for backing Swedish, Finland NATO membership. They give me old news. Okay. Why wouldn't this be on the top? This is 19 hours ago, right? It says Turkey at center of battle to avert global food crisis. So this is the defeat of it, and Daniel 2, partly strong and partly weak. Okay, Turkey breaks off high-level talks, another member of NATO, as rift grows. They give me 2-week-old, 3-week-old, almost a month-old news. Not give me the current news. You mean to tell me that's happening over there in Turkey with NATO? Let's come back over here. Then I'm gonna get into some scriptures. Could Donald Trump's Civil War post disqualify him from, I guess, as president? He's just doing what the hell he's doing. He don't give a damn. Because that's Nero Caesar. Nero Caesar was a hellraiser. Nero Caesar was the one that put the order out to kill Peter and the Apostle Paul and the rest of the disciples. It says Trump shares truth social posts appearing to predict civil war. Trump shares posts suggesting civil war. Trump under fire for sharing posts calling for civil war over US. Let me click on that. This is from the Independent. Trump under fire for sharing posts calling for civil war over US inflation. They give me a lot of pop-up advertisement crap. So let's go to news. You filtered it, you filter everything that they give you on the news, and you filter it through the scriptures. Donald Trump's civil war post sparks backlash beyond dangerous. Trump shares truth, social post preparing to predict civil war. He's calling for a civil war. Trump News Live, ex-president shrugs off potential 2024 challenge from Mike Pence. Ain't nobody gonna vote for Mike Pence. Very few people. Any Republicans want to speak out now? Alarm after Trump shares Civil War post. Trump Civil War rhetoric is a growing belief on far right. He's getting them devils riled up. And they're following him, man. They blindly follow this individual right here. Huff Post, which is the Huffington Post. Huffington Post. Trump shares post suggesting civil war. It says, any of my fellow Republicans want to speak out now? GOP Rep. Adam Kinzinger said of the incendiary post. After Buffalo, Trump threatened civil war. Mainstream media refuses to connect the dots. Trump reshares posts saying the U.S. is heading for a civil war. Ohio Civil War general provides motivation to stand up. I think that's something different. Anyway, let's go into the precepts. So what I did, I put in ladder, and 42 verses popped up, which I picked some of them out. So I'm just going to read them and speak on them. Numbers 24, verse 14. And latter days biblically means the end days. The latter end, latter days, end time, the end of the world. So this is not the time to turn your back on the plow. This is the time to push the plow even harder. You know, we're in the home stretch of this thing. So you guys getting weak, and a lot of you fall off because you don't, well, I don't see nothing, because you're not looking for anything. It's all the signs are there. Anytime you turn in the news, let's say you go to the local news or CNN or whatever station you go to, it's always bad news. When was the last time you heard good news in this place called America? It's bad news. Every day you go out to buy something to eat, the prices are sky high, and then they're giving you less food. You got a thing called inflation. You got a thing called shrinkflation, where they give you less. They'll charge you the same price, but they'll give you less of the product. I used to buy this detergent And then I went in and got some more detergent from a dollar store. And it's if it's not half the size, it's damn near close to half the size, but they charge you the same dollar. So in reality, what they should have did was just double the price. But people would complain. So what they do is they'll charge you the same price, but give you half of the product. That's shrinkflation. It says Numbers 24, verse 14, and now behold, I go unto my people. Come therefore, and I will advertise thee what this people, the Israelites, this is Balaam talking to Balak, shall do to thy people in the what? In the latter days. It's talking about now. This is getting ready to happen. And either if you go to Numbers 24, 14 and read down to the 20th verse or beyond the 20th verse, it mentions Edom. It says a 20th verse, and when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. The Edomites are going to be done away with. Read the book of Job 20. Deuteronomy 4, verse 30. When thou art in tribulation, talking about the Israelites only, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, we're in the latter days. If thou turn to Yahawah, the Most High, and shall be obedient unto his voice, that's when the Most High is going to have mercy on you. But you know, our people, they don't want to follow the Most High. They want to do their own thing. So there's going to come a time where the Most High, he's going to say, okay, now I'm going to deliver my people, but he's only going to deliver the elect. The rest of you, he's going to put in your mind to accept the charagma and then be destroyed. Deuteronomy 8, verse 16. Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee to do thee good at thy latter end. So who is he going to do the good to? The elect. He's going to deliver the elect, and he's going to cause them to take over the planet Earth and to rebuild the kingdom on earth. And then the ones of you that perished on this side, that are not written in the book of life, you're going to suffer the second death. You will come back as our sons and daughters. So, you know, Jake thinks this is a joke. It ain't gonna be a joke when that fire come down in your ass, literally. Because ain't that a shame? You're gonna die the death that was the Most High set up for Esau. You're gonna suffer that same. It's almost gonna be like the Most High gonna look at you like an Edomite. Deuteronomy 31, verse 29. For I knew that after my death, this is Moses speaking, for I know that after my death, ye will utterly corrupt yourselves. He's talking to the Israelites, and turn aside from the way. And one of the first things that they did in the wilderness was that new generation of babies, they didn't circumcise their children. And it got back to Joshua, and he ordered them. He said, look, you got to sacrifice all your male sons. That shows you how quick they forgot about the laws. So the Mosai is not going to do what he did coming out of Egypt, Mizraim. He's not going to bring them out to the wilderness so he can separate them and so forth. Now there's a precept, what is that, in Ezekiel? I hadn't gone to that in years, where it speaks about the rebels. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get it. I hadn't gone through that in years. Let me see if I can find it. If he said and spell it right. Anyways, right here, Ezekiel 20, verse 38. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am Yahawah. Let me go a couple of verses above that. And that's going to happen now on this side before the destruction and after the destruction, because who are you going to have that's rebelling against you? Those other tribes and the other countries. They're going to rebel against us, just like they did Moses. 34 verse, Ezekiel 20, verse 34. Should I go up a couple more verses? The Most High will restore Israel to her land. This from the 33rd verse on down is talking about something that's going to happen. As I live, saith the Lord, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people. I will gather you out of the countries. That's Revelation 18 and 4. Revelation chapter 11, wherein ye are scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So we know that this right here is not talking about Egypt. The 35th verse is going to be the new wilderness. So I will plead with you, saith the Most High Power, Yahawah, and I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant, which are the laws. And I will purge out from among you the rebels. And that's happening now. The rebels, they're going to get caught up in that fire. Because when we get into the wilderness and we go and take over this world, your Israelites are going to be coming against you because they want to be Catholic and Baptist and Muslim. They want to do their thing. So you're going to kill off a lot of them, and then they're going to get in their mind that the Most High is dealing with these people. And them that transgress against me, I will bring them forth out of the countries where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Yahawah. And ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahawah. As for you, O house of Israel, it's always been talking about the house of Israel. Thus saith the Most High Yahawah, go ye, serve ye everyone his idols, and hereafter also, if ye will not hearken unto me, but pollute ye my holy name, which his name is Yahawah BAHASHAM, now shine no more with your gifts and with your idols. For in mine holy mountain, in the mountain of the height of Yahawah, saith Yahawah the Most High, there shall all the houses of Israel, all of them in the land, serve me, kingdom of priests. There will I accept them, and there will I require your offerings and the first fruit of your oblations. Because anytime we have high holy days in the kingdom, that's going to be an oblation, an offering, a sacrifice. During the Passover, the lamb is sacrificed. Now, will there be any sacrifice for sin among Israel? No, because we're going to be perfect. We won't have to sin. With all your holy things, I will accept you with your sweet Savior when I bring you out from the people and gather you out of the countries wherein ye have been scattered, and I will be sanctified in you before the heathen. So this is getting ready to happen. It says, and evil will befall you in the latter days, because ye will do evil in the sight of Yahawah, to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. And you can see that you got, the so-called Black conscious community, you got the Christian world, you got the Jakes that's following the religion or the tenets of Islam. They're all going to be put to death. They're all going to be destroyed. We gave them the warning pursuant to Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter. We warned them, so the blood is off of our hands. Deuteronomy 32, verse 29. Oh, that thou were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. That applied to us for not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. But now that applies to Esau. Deuteronomy 30, verse 7. Now that applies to Esau. Esau said, the wicked said that he thought the Most High was altogether one as himself. He put us in hardcore slavery, split families, and basically praised the Most High. It's not going to be easy for you Edomites when you're in the kingdom and you are the nations. Job 8, verse 7. Though thy beginning was small, that's talking about Job, but Job refers to us, yet the latter end should greatly increase. So when you go back to King David, King Solomon, when you go back to when we were ruling, in this kingdom is going to be greater. It's going to be Solomon's kingdom, but greater. The continuation of Solomon's kingdom, because Solomon's kingdom never ended. It's just on pause. Most High pressed the pause button. Job, what is that? Job 19, verse 25. For I knew that my Redeemer liveth, for I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. He shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. Zechariah 14:1, behold, the days come, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses raffled, and the women ravished. They ravish all women, we're going to ravish their women. And half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall Yahawah go forth and fight against those nations. And when he fought in the day of battle, and his feet, with the last precept that I read, it says stand, right? He gonna stand, right? It says, and his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountains shall remove toward the north, and half toward the south. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azel. Yeah, ye shall flee like as ye fled from before the earthquake. Now, what Zechariah saw was the destruction. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord shall smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away, and their holes in their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. That's those missiles. Job 42, verse 12. So Yahawah blessed the latter end of Job more than his beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep and 6,000 camels, and 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 she-asses. So Job was rich, but Job became even richer. Proverbs 19, verse 20. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. Isaiah 41, verse 22, let them bring them forth and show us what shall happen. Let them show the former things. What are the former things? Us coming out of Egypt, the plagues that were put upon Egypt by the Most High, the flood, those are the former things. And those things happen. Even Edomite scientists, you know, if you do the research, they found evidence of the ark in Mount Ararat in Turkey. So what Esau does, Esau knows that the Most High exists because he does the digging. He has his Bible historians and Bible historians, because the secular people want to know about the Bible. They question the Bible, whether it's true or not, but they do it based upon evidence, not based upon faith. It says, what would they be that we may consider them and know the latter end of them, or declare us things for to come. One thing that's getting ready to come that we here at GMS declare is the charagma. Nothing, the destruction is not, the deliverance is not going to happen until the charagma is introduced to the whole planet through the Great Reset, through the fourth industrial revolution. That's what the fourth industrial revolution is all about. To merge man with machine. Through what? Through the charagma, what we call the charagma, the MOTB. Isaiah 47, verse 7, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things. It's talking about Babylon the Great. You start from the first verse. Thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, thy mind, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Esau doesn't realize what his near future is. Jeremiah 23, verse 20, the anger of Yahawah shall not return until he have executed, until he have performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days, which we're talking about right now, ye shall consider it perfectly. Who's going to consider it perfectly? The elect. You come into this thing for a while, you fall out, guess what? You are not of the elect. The ones of you that turn your back on the plow 20 years ago, and then you see all the prophecies coming to pass. You're watching all the videos, you fear the Most High. You go into your closet, you pick out your old garment from 20 years ago, you take it to the cleaners, and then you come out, dust the Bible off, then you come out like you never left. Most High is not dealing with you. Jeremiah 30, verse 24, and you got to read that whole chapter. Jeremiah chapter 30. That's a beautiful chapter. We went through it a couple of times. You see, when you read that whole chapter, then you understand what Jacob's trouble is. It says, the fast anger of Yahawah shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intent of his heart. In the latter days, ye shall consider it. Ezekiel 38, verse 8, and then we're going to jump to 16. And now the elder Lahab, that's his title, the elder Lahab, he's on the Fopi show. And he said, this is going to come to pass after the 1,000 years of us being in the kingdom. Esau is going to regroup and take us back over, which he clearly went off on. It said, after many days, thou shalt be visited. In the latter years, thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, which is America. They have been touched in war. And the land of Israel, there's inner wars. and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which is the actual place. Who's in the land of Israel? You have our people over there, but then you have the small hats over there as well, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. And that's America, that's mainly America. And thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, which is now, and I will bring thee again my land against my land, that the heathen who's in the land right now, the heathen may know me when I shall be sanctified in thee, O God, before their ears. Sanctified meaning the Most High chose God to do what he's going to do. Daniel 2, verse 28. But there is a power in heaven that revealeth secrets. And who does he reveal his secrets to? His prophets. And maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. So what King Nebuchadnezzar, which was a heathen of another nation, did not he see the latter days? Did not he see the destruction of Babylon the Great? Did not he see Third World War? Did not he see the War of Armageddon? Did not he see the Roman troops coming to Palestine? Did not he see Alexander, the 4 generals that came up with him, the Maccabees? It says, what shall be in the latter days? Thy dream and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. Daniel 8, verse 23. And in the latter times of their kings. Now, this is not talking about the act. This is not talking about this time. Daniel 8 already took place. Now, what Christians do, they'll say, oh, that's talking about the Antichrist. They don't understand the scriptures. Daniel 10, verse 14, now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days. It's not talking about now, it's talking about something that already took place. For yet the vision is for many days. Those are events that took place already. Same goes, whatever, Daniel 11. I didn't read Daniel 11, but right here, this Daniel 11, the 11th chapter took place already. It's history. Hosea 3, verse 5. After shall the children of Yahawah return and seek Yahawah the Most High. That's talking about now. And David, their king. It says they shall appoint themselves one head, Hosea 1, and shall fear Yahawah. When we go out there and we do that work and we keep the Passover, the high holy days, and we stand so stiffly for this word, it's talking about now. This is talking about right now. This is coming to pass right now. Hosea 3, verse 5. And shall fear the Lord Yahawah and his goodness in the what latter days. This is talking about now. First Timothy 4, verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times, it's talking about now, some shall depart from the faith, turn it back on the plow, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. A lot of these guys that left, they went back to being Baptists, or they followed the Kemetic sciences and so forth, or they became Moors or Islamic. They're all going to take that charagma. All these philosophies, ways of life, whatever you want to call it, whether it be Kemetic, the Moors, whatever it is, they're all the Baptists, Methodists, atheists, Jake that's trying to make $1. These political Jakes, at the end of the day, they're all going to take the Karagma because they don't know not to take it. Because none of their books tell them that. The number one prophetic book on the planet Earth is the Bible or the scriptures. This is the last precept, and I'm gonna close. It says 2 Peter 2, verse 20. Now you want to read the whole chapter. A lot of meat in the book of Peter. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Lord, came into the truth, and saved Yahawashi HaMashiach, they are again entangled therein and overcome. The latter end is worse with them than the beginning. Now what I got to do, I'm gonna read the last few verses 21 and 22. It said, for it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it, turn your back on the plow, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb, the dog is turned to his own vomit. Meaning if you were a Baptist, you're gonna go back to being a Baptist. If you were a Muslim, you're gonna go back to being a Muslim. The dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the sow that was washed to her wallowing in the mire. That's why it doesn't make sense for a Captain Tazariak to constantly go on so I know there's a platform. Doesn't make sense. Because they'll get you on the platform and they'll ask you questions to try to stump you as far as your belief is concerned. It says, how does it say it? After the first and second admonition, reject. It says a heretic. I'm not going to go to it. Somebody can put it in the comment section. So you tell a Jake, he's a Jake, he can't get it. You might tell him another time. It's only 2 times. If he doesn't get it, if it doesn't register in his mind, in his heart, then you forget about him. He's obviously not of the elect. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say a shalom.